My skin is black.
What you looking
My
at?
skin
Yeah,
is black.
I feel so good
My
to be
skin
black right now.
is black.
What you look?
Welcome to episode 97 of the Black in Fashion podcast. I am your host, Janais Collier. Thank you guys for joining me every week. As you know, we're bumping up to, we're almost at 100. We're almost at my 3-year anniversary where we'll be doing a live taping. Of course, I can't start any show without acknowledging all of our amazing Black-owned women sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Adorn. They're located in Harlem. They are a natural hair care salon. They have moved their entire salon over to memberships now, so you can get on your healthy hair care journey by starting with the membership. I am also a customer. I've been going to them for about 2 years now. My hair is natural underneath this weave. But they are the silk press queens, and make sure you book an appointment. All of their information will be in the show notes. So today I am joined with Janai. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Just move the mic a little bit closer to
Okay.
you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I feel like I have so much to unpack for you.
Sure.
So I just want you to just start out. I like to do a little icebreaker called this or that. Just tell me what you prefer over the other, okay?
Sure.
Skinny leg or flare leg?
Flare.
Side boob or under boob?
Under.
Bucket hats or baseball hats?
Bucket.
Bucket. A wedge or a mule?
Mule.
Mule. Okay, all right. Sound like me. All right, so just tell me a little bit about your background, where you're from, and how you got started.
I'm from Brooklyn. Born and raised. I'm actually from Bed-Stuy, so this area. It was a little nostalgic, like driving over here. Went to school here. Went to school a little bit in Maryland, but mostly been in New York. How I got started in the fashion industry, I pretty much was like a mentee or like a little sister to my aunt. She is very, very creative. She's a Leo like me.
Nice.
And she would teach me, you know, different techniques of distressing denim. So I kind of fell in love with that because it was something easy, creative to do at home.
Gotcha.
So that was like a big thing in the 90s. So she introduced me to that, fell in love with it. So then when I got to college, I ended up like making that my side hustle.
Okay.
So I would essentially like distress denim, repurpose denim, do all types of crazy things with denim when I was in college. And it was fun for me, but I kind of always knew I wanted to do like a cut and sew collection.
Okay.
So I took a step back from that when I went to law school. And then about 2 years ago, I got back into it, started taking some classes, started learning like different, I don't do everything myself for my brand, but I wanted to learn about fabrication. I wanted to learn about pattern making. I wanted to learn about sketching. So I spent pretty much the whole pandemic and even like 10 months before the pandemic taking classes and learning things about that. So I know how to direct people and how to like really facilitate things like the logistics or whatever have you. So yeah, from there I launched, took a step out on faith. It took me quite a while.
What was
to
your
launch.
actual launch?
August 15th, 2020.
Oh, last year.
Yeah, last year.
Okay.
So
All right. Perfect.
pretty much like a year ago.
That's funny because I think I must have saw your launch right when you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so because I had just released a bag collection.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I released a bag collection, and in my collection I had 2 denim bags.
Oh, really?
And the young lady that was my influencer at the time that she was shooting, she sent it and she was like, girl, look, it was the corset, and it had 3 colors, and the bag had the same colors in it.
Nice.
And she was just like, I want to shoot this with this bag.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, okay, by the top I'll reimburse you. And then I sent her the bag, and then she shot it with that bag.
Oh, nice.
I thought that was nice. But yeah, I feel like you came out of nowhere and you just like
Thank you.
blossom, and I love it. I love to see it. I work with a lot of different designers, so just seeing, I was just like, this is the way you do it. But I feel like you got the education side of it first, opposed to like just jumping in head first.
Yeah.
So on average, what would you say your development process looks like when you're doing a collection? Like, do you go through a couple sample rounds before you actually get to that final one? How long would you, I guess, advise a designer to start in advance before they're about to launch?
Like just for good?
Yeah, like how long they should be starting. Like every time you redo a season, how much time do you give yourself in between?
Oh, between seasons? So I'll break that up. So like between when I first launched, I mean, I did like a lot of research, just figuring things out. So that process for me took like almost a year. And then also like getting the samples, and I was new to it. I was new to changes to samples. So now I'm making, you know, a lot less samples for one item, you know, because I'm learning. But
your first time, it took you a year.
It took me about a year.
I just want y'all to hear that loud and clear. It takes a year to get it right on your first try. Okay.
Yeah. So it took me about a year to launch those pieces. I was very scared of pre-order. As a, being a customer, I hate pre-order, but it's a little different when you running the business. So for that took me about a year. And I'll be honest, like even today, I'm still getting used to like the different collections and keeping up with the seasons. Like that's probably the most challenging as far as like production. But one thing that's a little bit comforting is watching other people that do really well is that it's not the same as it was 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
When the way that people release their fall pretty much in June, their fall winter in June, it's a little different in the fast fashion space. And I don't think that my brand is fast fashion, but it's a little different. It's like it's pretty much in between.
I feel like you're contemporary.
Yeah, definitely contemporary. So it's like I have that flexibility a little bit because people are traveling, so you're not really tied to releasing that fall collection in June like you were 20 years ago. So I'm adjusting to like the balance between that.
Gotcha.
And still making sure that I have things in season available for people. But I would say to launch a new collection fully and to have it readily available too, because that's a whole different thing.
Right.
It takes about like 2 to 3 months.
Yeah. I feel like I've stressed that so much to my clients.
Yeah.
And it just sometimes it don't come across, and like for us the development process takes 6 months.
Okay.
And then the production process can take 1 to 3 depending on your budget, depending on if the fabrics are available, and we doing everything. You do everything domestically too, right? Yeah, we doing everything domestically, like in the garment district. Some stuff is done in house, but I feel like I get a lot of pushback from new designers that they're always just like, this is taking too long, and I'm just like, if you only knew the amount of work that goes into like pattern making and just construction and samples and stuff like that, I'm just like, I wish that more people would invest in education like you did to like really further them along in the process, because I think that they would understand it a lot better if they were seeking the educational piece, or even like you said, you was doing stuff yourself and learning like those technical skills so that you can delegate out. I say something about a French team, nobody knows what the hell I'm talking about. Like,
and if you're like rushing, that is it just doesn't work in your favor. Like for me, I say 2 to 3 months because it could be like, I don't know, for like sketching comes a little bit easier now for me because I've sketched so much for like the last 2 years. So I have stuff like, okay, I'll pull these 3 pieces. Maybe these 3 are new, but these 3 I already sketched before. I already had the idea for it. So that's why that could be a little bit fast. But if not, then that could take time to really make sure you're putting out stuff that you really like, not just putting out, anything just because. Right. And then the pattern making and the samples take time. You have to get it right. And then also, I feel like the fabrication changes. They say you're supposed to pick your fabrics first, which is true for the base, but sometimes you may want to like twist things up. You know what I mean? Like offer more. And then you gotta wait for the fabric to come in. I don't know like any good fabric that doesn't take at least 3 weeks time. So that's just, your patterns could be sitting there, but you gotta wait for what you want.
Absolutely. I think you're absolutely right. I feel like they needed to hear from you. Someone that's, doing it, been in it, understands it, opposed to like, I don't know, like I feel like a lot of the designers are, like you said, they're rushing and then like push it through, and like fabrics are like such an important thing, and even making sure it even like, especially with denim too. I just like making sure the right shit. Like this, it took me, I didn't get this denim for like 4 weeks before I made this jumpsuit. Like, and then I put it, and I did like the whole like pre-order thing and stuff like that. But it takes like a long time. And I've been in the business for a while, and it just seems like it takes a long time. Do you think that just having domestic production is better with the quality, since it's way more hands-on? Because I find people like they don't want to pay the price, but domestic production is more expensive than going overseas, especially depending on how many units you make. So they depend on units and sizes, and I think it's worth it, because you're hands-on. You can walk into the factory and see everything yourself, opposed to going overseas and, they want to make something that people, I have people tell me like, oh yeah, I want to make this, I want to sell it for $50. I'm like, where? Here? New York? You want to make it in New York? You want to sell it for $50? Never going to happen.
So I would say it's a huge advantage to having domestic production, because like you said, you can walk in, you can see what's going on. And to be honest with you, I've spoke to people that do their production overseas, and you think, oh, I'm going overseas to China, they do this, like this is their thing, like this is gonna be so phenomenal, and they make there's always, you have to leave some room for error, because there's always going to be something that needs to be adjusted, and sometimes it could be on you, sometimes it could be on production, but it's just so valuable to be able to be there, to stop in every 2-3 days to see what's going on. Like I've had things mess up that I can still sell, right? You know, but it's just like, and it could have been like an error on my part, like I wasn't as thorough as I could have been on my cut ticket or whatever have you. And you know, you can still sell it, and you know, things like you still have those advantages, but it's like at least you can be ahead of it, rather than receiving a box of something that's just like, you know, not what you wanted. And also I know that like with international production, people have problems with sizing always, so you can't really get a TOP on that, because the shipping charges are going to be so high, and the quality, like terrible. I'll be honest, I get my fabric from overseas, yeah, but the production of something from overseas is totally different, because like all the small details that you may have on your item, they're going to miss it. If you have boning somewhere, they might miss it. Yeah. So many different things. Yeah, I mean, sure. And a lot of people, I feel like that they compare to they'll compare it to like Balmain or something, and it's like they have a whole factory, in-house factory in Italy. It's not like they're just sitting it to, you know, they have like a whole, like, you know, like a whole building probably of their own production. So you compare it to like these like, you know,
and but look at the price points on those things. Yeah. Like they're being handcrafted. Like yeah, they're not using like, in fast fashion, it's machine work. Yeah. Like you do, like it's one person that's doing the side seams, it's a different person that's doing like the crotch seams, so like different boys. Like when you get in Southern domestic, that one person that's in the factory is working on everything. It's one person cutting, it's one person sewing, and then somebody else is pressing and steaming and doing like hand work. When you first started, like when you did your first production, did you do everything by yourself? Did you hire like an assistant or an intern or anything like that?
No, I didn't, because one thing, like with all business ventures, I always like to be like to know everything, like from all the steps, from A to Z. I like to do everything myself initially, and then have people come in. But at least if I started with someone, then maybe I wouldn't have caught everything or seen every mistake firsthand. But no, I didn't, because I will say I'm really good with logistics. I guess it comes from being a professional and different things like that, like juggling a whole bunch of things. It was like a learning experience for me too, so that's why I wanted to do everything. It wasn't like I was just, you know, gotcha. But I didn't have the luxury of.
So how is it being like I want to call you like a serial entrepreneur? I feel like, because like you're a lawyer, you're a designer, you're an MBA agent too. So how is it like? And you're recently married too. Recently married. How is it like juggling? That's a lot. It's like you have it all. How is it like juggling all of that?
It's hard, but what I will say is I have like amazing help in all different aspects. Like with my firm, I have staff. You know, I've had my firm now 4 years, so I have my staff. I'm there every day, and it's just time management, I would say. And then now I have staff at Broken Land, people that are helping me out daily. So I feel like it's just time management, and just trying to stay on top of things as much as possible. And things are always gonna come up. But yeah, just time management. And
how's the
I
MBA
am
thing?
Tired.
Yeah, I was like, how's the MBA?
That's new. Just started talking to players this year, so hopefully you'll be hearing something about that soon. But that's amazing. I also recently took the NFL agents test on my birthday. Oh, yeah, you're a Leo, right? That was interesting. Never did anything educational on my birthday before, but first time for everything. Gotcha. And hoping that went well.
Well, that's nice. So what did you do for your birthday?
You
just did that? Like literally just education, no fun?
Oh, no. I had a party. Okay. It was a surprise party. I turned 30, so I knew that my husband was going to do something. Nice. I just didn't know what. I was really happy to see all my family and friends there. It was like a party, but then it also had like a burlesque show. Oh, nice. And then there was this mind reader there. It was weird. Kind of like a magician / mind reader, but he was a lot of fun too.
Nice. That's what's
we had a good time.
I know that's like a lot, like time management. I feel like that's probably some of like the hardest things to do. Like is to manage out your time. I get that all the time. I have 4 businesses too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this I have my brand. I make bags and outerwear. Then I have the consulting agency. And I guess do you ever feel like super duper overwhelmed with anything, even with all the time management? I don't. Well, you don't really have like a service based business because you're selling products, but I'm dealing with like 300 different designers right now.
Oh yes, I'm dealing. That I'm
doing patterns, and it's just like with I guess with services you have to learn how to deal with multiple different personalities and how people work, and even as like now you're adding staff, and for me that has been the hardest part because then I get emotionally attached to some of them, and then I'm like, okay, this is not working, and you know I give like several chances. And I was reading something like you got to be quick to fire and slow to hire.
What you mean as far as like your staff?
Yeah, as far as like staff goes, like I just feel like dealing with different personalities, whether it's staff or whether it's like a client or something like that. I think that has been the most challenging part for me as far as like keeping my piece together. And because I'm so passionate about what I do, I'll be ready to flip like that. So how do you handle, I guess, like stress, stuff like that when it comes to all these different people that you constantly have to encounter, you constantly have to work with, or you're constantly having to explain things without, I don't know, I'll be ready to pop. That's just, but I'm from Chicago. Born and raised, I'll be ready to pop off on people. Yeah, especially clients.
So for the clients, because I have a lot of clients with my firm, it's tough being young, being black, being a woman in the legal industry. So I just feel like I always just set boundaries. A lot of my clients are young. Most of my staff is, I would say 75% of my staff is older than me. Okay. So it's a challenge, and I just have to always set boundaries. Like I don't really I have a good relationship with my staff, but you know, we're not friends. So that is like, it's a challenge because, you know, it's a lot of young black women that I work with, but you have to just set those boundaries. I think that's the most important, and also just maintain respect. I know you say like you're ready to flip, but I always tell even my staff when they're dealing with the clients that could be rude, that could be disrespectful, I say always vent to your coworkers, but don't ever let that show through to the clients. And that's the same thing that I do with the customers for Broken Land. It's always the commercial or like, you know, the politically correct approach, even if I feel like maybe the customer's wrong. You know, the customer is always supposed to be right. And I don't want people to ever leave, you know, their experience with Broken Land feeling like, oh, you know, they don't feel heard, even if they could have been wrong in that specific situation. So, yeah, I just try to take the commercial approach and just set boundaries. And I think it's important maybe to set boundaries with your clients too. So that you don't take all of that home with you. Like, you want to see people thrive, you want to see people do well, but it can't be at your expense.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. Like, I'm really just ready to like now my staff at LC is 12 of them. I just want them to do the services. Like, I'm over it. Like, I'm just focused on the education side. So I teach pattern making and sewing and draping, and I'm like, 'cause I love my students. My students never give me problems. And I teach merchandise management. I teach tech pack development. Like, I teach it all, and I love this because I love people who want to learn. You know, but like, is those people, they're trying to rush and they act crazy, and sometimes I just want to be like, I got time today. And I know I shouldn't have that approach, and I'm trying my best. So that's why I'm trying to like step away from it so that I won't go that way. And I'm just, and I like talking to other entrepreneurs that are working and in that space. I'm just like, how are you handling this? Because for me, it's also still, I would say relatively new. I've only had a commercial space in the staff for a year. It's only been a year for me. And that full-time entrepreneurship role, I've been in like for a year and a half. We were in my house first, and then we moved to a space. And I'm literally about to drive myself crazy. Like, I just like, okay.
And you gotta take some self-care days too. Sometimes you like, it's not for long. Like, I know some people say, oh, I disconnect for a week. It's not really realistic for me. But, you know, getting that facial every month, going to get a massage every month, you know, just going out for drinks and not really talking about work, that helps. I feel like sometimes you can't go for
Bring
2
it on
weeks.
home.
But, you know, having fun and having that time to like really take care of yourself. I recently started doing Pilates too. So it's like all those things like I add into my schedule.
I need to do Pilates. I'm like, I need to do some Pilates.
I really like it.
Okay. So I have a segment. It's called It's a Success. or it's a disaster.
Is it a success or disaster?
Yeah, it's a success or it's a disaster.
Okay.
Basically, I want you to tell me about a time in your business where something went completely, I guess, bad. Like, it went to shit, and something you learned from the experience that, like, actually you incorporated in your business, or you decided not to do anymore from that. And this segment is actually brought to you by Style by B. Do you find that even with the very best of intentions, you usually just end up dressing safe or boring? You want to get excited about life and try something new, but just end up in the same old, same old. Let her help you get started. She'll take your stress out of getting dressed for you, no matter what you're doing. So, Janai, you just want to tell me about something that was terrible, but then it turned out a success.
Let me think.
Maybe a production one.
Production one?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I want to give something more juicy.
Go ahead. Give it juicy. Go juicy.
I'll think about something else. But one thing, I have the Kooty pants, which are the half pleated pants that everybody loves. And when one thing that I wanted to do in the beginning is kind of like set myself apart by like doing hardware on the clothing, something that people could see, but it's not so flashy. So with the Kooty pants, I was like going against the grain, and I was like putting, instead of jean buttons, which is like on the standard jeans, I was using snaps.
Okay.
Which is a nice idea. The snaps are imported, but it didn't work so well with the jeans because I'm not realizing that I'm giving these jeans to all women of all different sizes. In the snaps, the whole point of a jean button and the way that jeans work is they have to be secure when you're sitting, when you're standing,
right,
etc. So that had to go. So I had a few exchanges and returns based on that. And it kind of like, it kind of stung a little bit because it's a custom snap. Right. And I thought that I was like making it more appealing to the customer, and I think that it does look really nice. But in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really work. So that was one of the things where I learned, like, when you're going to go against the grain for something, you have to be sure that you are replacing it with something that is equally as secure. And you're not just doing something for cosmetic purposes. It has to serve the same purpose.
Gotcha.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I had a friend who had something similar to that. She I do NYC Garment District tours the first Friday every month.
Okay.
I take people to like 19 different places in the Garment District so they can learn how to really understand the process. So she was one of the first people who went on tour to kind of venture out and did it on her own. And she went in. She was doing like lingerie. And she did panties, and she did chains on the side of the panties, and then the whole production was done, and realized she couldn't get the motherfuckers up. And I was cracking up, and I was just like, "You never should." But it was so cute, like the way I thought about it, and then it just made me think of that when you said that, like she couldn't even put them on, and I was just like, "You should have had like a hook or something like that at the end, or some elastic or something in it." And then for me, my worst one was. I had on my cut ticket, my fabric was turned the wrong way, so they made all the pants on the wrong side. I did that. I was just like,
oh my God.
I was just like, how did you do that? Moving too fast. So now when I do cut tickets, I do them at home. I think I did the cut ticket in the factory. I was rushing. I was stapling them to them and stuff like that. And I just wasn't paying attention. Yeah, and made a whole bunch of pants on the wrong side. So. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was the worst. But that's why I don't really make clothes. I make outerwear and I make jackets. Speaking of jackets, I got so much love from your coat.
Really?
When I tell you so much, like anytime I walk anywhere with it, I only wore it like, I think I wore it on Valentine's Day.
Okay. And
then I wore it like two or three times after that. And I got so much love. And I'm like, well, wait, it zips off. Wait a minute. And I zipped it off. They're like, this is a bomb. I'm like, I know. I love it. I'm like, and I got this free headband too. That's also I would purchase. But do you always try to initiate like some type of gift with purchase just to like bring the customers in a little bit more, just something special for them?
I wouldn't say to bring the customers in, but I just feel like, I guess the business is really dear to me. So anybody that's shopping with me, every chance that I can, if I have extra, whatever have you, I just try to implement something where it's like fun and you feel like, oh, you get to see more of the brand. because I appreciate that when, like, you know, if I'm shopping and somebody does it for me, even if it's something small, like a little lipstick or something, like, I just try to, you know, provide something where I can, so you could just see more of the brand. Because that's really what I've been trying to do. Like, just have people to kind of, like, believe in the brand, like, believe in the quality of the brand. And then it's like, you know, years from now, you don't kind of have to question, like, oh, is this going to be right? Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
make a foundation for your brand.
The integrity of the brand. That's what I'm trying to develop.
Nice. Love that. All right. So, last segment before we wrap and get out of here. I know we both tired. It's just called It's a Muse. So, if there's any, like, quote or book or affirmation, mantra, anything you want to share that just keeps you motivated, that you think could help someone else. It could be a crystal or reading, anything like that. A meditation.
One thing that I did start to develop, like, right before, like, during this whole process is, what is it called? The music that you said so much just now. You have
There's a whole bunch of them.
What was it? It's the
rain sounds. I listen to those. Like, you're talking about like soft, like music.
No,
help you
the
sleep?
chakras.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah.
I've been listening to that, and to me, it's just so relaxing in the morning. I think music does it for me, but what I will say, just generally, is I feel like during this process, the most important thing is just to be always in a learning space. And
student of your business. Everybody
I know that's super successful, no one's ever, like, super pretentious, and like the people that are really doing well, they're so humble. No one is really, like, super pretentious. They're always in a learning space, and like when you're speaking to people, whatever, like, your entrepreneurial journey is, I feel like you should just always be in a learning space. And I'm always in a learning space. When I'm speaking to people, if I don't know something, I'm gonna say, oh, I don't really know what you're talking about, and let's indulge. Like, teach me something, I could teach you something. Like, let's, you know, see what we know. And I feel like a little bit now, like, everything is so much like a who's who, and like people are, like, you know, always networking, but always for an advantage.
Right.
And I just learned that I'm always in a learning space, and when I meet people, like, all the people that I work with now, I've known in some, like, limited capacity, or I've seen in passing. And by me just having a casual conversation and just opening up to what I'm doing, and like I said, being in a learning space, so like, hey, I'm here, but I'm trying to, you know, do this, or trying to learn this, like, things just come into my path. So I would just say my mantra, I guess, is to just always be in a learning space, always trying to get new information. I'm always signing up for some class. When I'm driving, I'm listening to the master class of somebody that did something in fashion or something, just to learn from other people's mistakes, learn about other people's journey, and just, you know.
Are you familiar with Jess from the Fashionpreneur Academy?
Yeah. She's from Maryland, right? Yeah, we had spoke briefly, and you did an event together, and I would have been there, but I think I was traveling. Gosh,
we're business partners, so a lot of people go through her master program, and then they come to me for their production and their product development afterwards, and then I'm doing for her retreat next year. I'm doing the LA tour.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we'll partner on that. So yes, my girl.
Yeah, I'll be in touch with you, and the first chance I get, I definitely want to go. But like, even for that, like, I would go to anything, like, as if I'm starting from stage one, you know, just to learn, just to see, like, did I miss something in the beginning? Like, I don't care. Like, I always want to learn, and however I could tweak what I am doing, I always want to do that, because it's like, I know what I know, but then I know there's so much that I don't know, and there's always room for change. So yeah, I'm always in a learning space, always trying to, you know, figure something out or learn about something.
I wish more people had that mentality. Like, well, it's not even more people. I wish more of my clients had the learning mentality, but they're getting there. Like, I'm just gonna have to, you know, shift. Like, I guess, like, in business, we constantly analyzing what's working and what's not working, and then whatever's not working, we just start to shift and pivot. And now I don't even work with people who don't want classes. Like, because it's that important to me that you understand, because if you're not learning, you're not gonna be successful. So that keeps me, honestly, from not having repeat business. I can't manufacture or produce a line or product development line if you're not selling anything. So it's really important to me for the educational piece. So now I'm just shifting my focus strongly into education, and just letting my team handle, like, the services. But I'm gonna be more particular now with the clientele, because I just cannot. So I brought you something.
Yeah,
I did. I know you're a busy woman, so I know you're the denim queen. So I brought you something from that collection. This
Thank
denim.
you so much.
It's my little version of a denim lunch bag.
This is beautiful.
So it's 100% leather and denim, and then on the inside is lined with 100% silk, and it's made right here in Brooklyn.
I love this.
Thank you.
My computer can fit.
All natural brass hardware. So, and I'm coming out with a coat that goes with this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. I can't wait to see it.
I need a little lint. Ooh,
that's good.
Not in the back. No,
Yeah.
it's not.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it. I was like, let me make sure I wear my headband today. Came with my coat. And I have that other piece with the opening that's here. With the angle. I have
top?
Yeah, and I have the shorts and stuff like that to match.
Nice.
I didn't have time to iron it.
Aww.
I was like, I should come with the whole get up on, but I was just like, I don't have time to iron it. I was rushing.
I love it.
Yeah, thank you. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys follow Janai. I'll make sure I put all of her social media handles in the show notes so you guys can shop. You have a new collection out now too, right?
I do.
Yes. You want to go ahead and throw a little promo for that?
Summer collection is available now, and also the anniversary collection. We just made 1 year. August 15th, and also stay tuned for our collaboration project that's coming with Angela Simmons. That'll be available for fall winter.
Amazing. Well, we wish you the best of luck. I'm so happy for you. I've seen you grow so fast. I'm like, you go, girl.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys soon. As I always say, stay black. Peace out.